Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain community? That's right. Tonight we've got Eric Trump dropping a Ripple bombshell. We got to go in, dissect, and find out what that was all about. Trump coin, sending liberals into full meltdown. And the West, what are they continuing to bow to terrorism and the chaos that's been unfolding? Because we're going to unpack all the chaos. We're going to call out the hypocrisy, might even laugh a little bit along the way, because at this point, the Babylon Bee looks more accurate than most of the mainstream media. Man, you ready to kick this thing off?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody, to On the Chain. Guys, where are you coming in from? Where are you coming in from? I got to know. I have to know. I see everyone's coming, piling in right here and there. Oh, it's Jiff. You're Jiff now. Jiff and Chip. Impeccable timing. Jiff and Chip. Jiff and Chip. There you go. Carmichael's in early today. What's going on? What's going on, Carmichael? Jeez, this is a rare event. Digital Dynamics. Reposted. Thank you for that. Always appreciate that, guys. Palm Bay, Florida. Got Matthew Ciro from Florida. That's Florida. Pittsburgh, PA. There you go. I'm not able to do this to say Jeff and Jeff are two good-looking guys. Well, hell yeah.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just saying.
Thank you very much.
You know, I mean, what are you going to do? It's all right. Hey, guys, what's up? Hey. So much news. There is so much news. There's so much
news. Such a little time to.
And guys, you guys know I'm a Bills fan. I know I've chose to do the podcast instead of watching the Bills games. Do not tell me the score, because I am recording it and I will go watch it from the beginning. Just saying. While you're out there, don't give scores. No spoilers. Don't want to see it. I do not want to see what's going on with that.
That's right.
So
that is right.
Is it risky?
It's a little risky.
Is it risky?
Is it possibly? Risky? Maybe. Could be. Possibly. It could be. There's always a possibility that it could be.
What's up, XRP Plumbing's over in Orlando. Should be checking out the guys
in Orlando.
In Celebration.
In Orlando, yeah, you should be hanging out with Chad over there. He's not in here yet. I don't think he's in here yet, but
I don't think he's here yet. Celebrate
XRP
good times.
XRP Army.
There you go, Centaya, all the way in Palm Bay. That's how we do it.
Hey, where's Palm Bay by? Is that up north in Florida? I'm trying to think where that is.
I always forget if it's near Tampa or if it's on the East Coast.
It sounds like it's near Tampa. I don't know. Palm Bay.
Palm Coast. Like Tampa.
But the Palm Coast is the other side of the world.
I always forget.
Who the hell knows? Nobody knows.
We're
not expected to know every city in Florida.
Are we? Melbourne. Where's Melbourne?
Where's Melbourne? I know where Melbourne is. Okay. So it's the Palm Coast then, right? So that area of the Palm Coast where Melbourne is. Okay, that is East Coast then. There you go. See? Got Montreal in the house. What's up? Montreal.
What's up?
I was in Montreal. Last time I was there was January, and it was like 4 degrees outside. Yeah. That was not with the wind chill.
Yes. No Disney. Stay away from Disney. Doesn't matter. Summer, spring, fall. Stay away
I'll
from
tell you something about Montreal. Montrealans, I don't know how you say it, but the people who live in Montreal, dude, they're a different breed, okay? I'm in like in a parka coat with a hat, gloves on. They're walking around like with a light jacket on.
Oh yeah.
Like it's you know, like falls here. It's like 5 degrees outside. I mean, I don't know what it is in Celsius. I guess it's it's minus. It's a minus something. Minus 11, 12, I don't know. 0 is 32 degrees.
Come on, Joe Bud. You're giving it all away. Come on.
Dude, of course it is. Come on. We gotta have some mystique. That's all he says, but we're trying to be like the other cool kids out there that connect imaginary dots.
That's right.
That's what we're trying to do that. I saw the headline that Jeff put up on there. I was like, oh no, man. We're gonna get hammered. We're gonna get hammered for this.
No, yeah.
I was like, oh no. You know, we put these bold headlines up. Most of the time we don't even talk about them. That's the best part. But most of the time we don't.
We got a lot. Yeah, we have some real stuff to dig into.
We don't believe them ourselves. So there you go. Melbourne. So Monica Long put this up on Friday. She said that the stablecoin payments are all over bank/payment companies' earnings calls and crypto Twitter. What gives? Well, first of all, I'll tell you what gives. It's crypto X. It hasn't been crypto Twitter for over a year and a half. That's okay.
Twitter thing.
I know some people take longer to come around. Crypto Twitter. They still call it CT. It's crypto Twitter. I guess CX doesn't have the same feel to it. Or no, it would be C crypto Twitter, CX, crypto X.
Ecstasy.
Whatever it is. The bottom line is everyone still calls it Twitter, even though it's been called X for the last year and a half.
TX.
And thank God for X, and thank God for Elon Musk, because you can say anything you damn well please, and with no worry about being banned or retribution. You know, the normal things that apply. You can't threaten people and do that. Yeah. But she's like, what gives? I'll tell you what gives. What do you mean what gives? It's the new financial system, yeah. But I know what she's saying. She's having a little bit of fun with this. She's like, hey, it's all over. But it is interesting what she's pointing out, because this is a phenomenon. If you go back a year and a half or so, and these earnings calls, a lot of times I'll pull earnings calls, especially companies that I'm prospecting into. I'll listen to them, or I'll take the transcript and I'll search it via AI. And it is interesting that these are now that in the anybody having to do with whether you're a banking or a financial institution, you're talking about stable coins. It's part of your stable, if you will. So it's something you're talking about. Payments finally getting the full embrace from both TradFi and DeFi as killer use case for blockchain. That is perfectly said right there and stated. Trend 1, stable coin flurry. Do we need 100 USD stable coins? Many lack a clear use case and appear driven by FOMO. Reminds me of the NFT fever of 2020-21. Yeah, that's a good point right there. I mean, do we need
that question? Oh, do we need 100 different? Not. Yeah. Do we need $100 worth of stablecoin? Do we need 100 different stablecoins? That's a good point. That's a.
Do we need 100 different, varied, stable coins? Do we need 100? And she's right, because she's right on the use case part. Yeah. Sounds like she's starting to make a good case for RLUSD. Is what I'm reading into this. A little foreshadowing here, Jeff.
Well, let me ask you. Let's say you have a PayPal stablecoin, you have a USDC stablecoin, you've got, Tether is still out there someplace, and then you're gonna have the RLUSD out there. I know there's a whole bunch of others.
But are they going to be used?
Are they going to get used? Are they just a bunch of kind of Me Too moments, or are you going to use the top stablecoins, the ones that are backed, where for certain that there's audit, that for certain that there's some backing behind and making it real stable, that there's actually something in their basket, something in their coffers, so if anything ever did happen, it's not going to just all of a sudden tank the asset. Kind of where Tether found themselves when they called them out, and they're like, you know what, we got to audit the stablecoin. What are you guys backing this with? And like, stuff.
Yeah. Well, but Tether's pretty smart, because now they're going with something a little further. The whole idea of Tether,
they learn quick.
They're very quick, and they also have great people working there now. They pulled over some really awesome people
very quickly.
Yeah, but it's smart. You need something a little bit more if you're going to be putting stuff to the general public. You need something a little friendlier. Institutions are always would use Tether anyway, but it's good to know that. But she's pulling out something really important here. Like, they don't have a clear use case. Like, just the fact that it's paired one-to-one with, backed, by the equivalent of a $1 USD doesn't make it. It's like, that's the problem. There are too many stablecoins that don't have any use cases. Where what do? Well, that's what they do. It's like, okay, well, do we need 100 of those? We need 1,000 of those. They're not going to get adopted anyway, but they do seem like they're driven by FOMO. She says some have real use cases, like interbank payments or customer loyalty.
Customer loyalty, yes.
For some issuers, managing their own reserves or owning the brand may be important, but for others, issuing their own stablecoin isn't worth the burden of managing the asset. Regulatory compliance, the building liquidity, the distribution, it's an expensive undertaking. And this right here is the reason that there's going to be 4 to 5 RLUSD will be in that grouping, because of the fact of the regulatory compliance. Check the box for Ripple on that. Extensive regulatory compliance. Liquidity is the big missing chunk right there, which Ripple's bringing to the equation, and also it is expensive, and a lot of stablecoin issuers won't be able to deal with it, Jeff.
Right. So what I see is that we're potentially going to enter into a period, especially if we see one bank put out a stablecoin, we're going to see a flurry of financial institutions and banks putting out their own. Then there's going to be a little bit of a battle where the ROUSD, PayPal, and a couple others are going to vie for the financial institution space, for the banking space. But if one bank dips their toe into the water, and I think she hit it kind of in an interesting point, interbank payments, customer loyalty, branding. So let's say a JP Morgan global entity, they come out with a JP Morgan stable coin, not their coin they had before, but let's say they come out with their stable coin, interbank, streamline, payments between, customers, come up with a process to where it costs less. You're branding customer loyalty. You can transfer money to anybody, in minutes, versus if you have to do a bank wire, even interbank bank wires and ACH still take the time it takes, and it's still costly, even if it's within the banking system. And then if you need to do it international. So I see that there's a possibility where we'll have some of the bigger banks around the world. Now, it's not just US centric, so it's going to go global. I do think there'll be more than 4 or 5. I do think there'll be hundreds that'll pop up. The question is, do they last? And that only happens if one big financial institution decides to dip their toe into the water and say, hey, it's time, that this is what's going to happen. Then the question is, do you need it? Do you want it? Does it really streamline? If JP Morgan wants to keep everything in-house, then, hey, you know what? We're going to move your dollars into this JP Morgan stable coin. Doesn't exist. I'm just throwing this out there. But let's say we're going to move your dollars into this JP Morgan stable coin. We're going to allow you, and it'll be a seamless transaction, because now you're in the JP Morgan coin. It's, there shouldn't be any change in valuation. Should be seamless. You're moving $100. Whoever on the other end gets $100. The cost for transference is going to decrease exponentially. The question is, do we need them? Do we need a JP Morgan, or do we want a central entity like a Ripple? And then how many other Ripples out there are going to pop up to start vying for the space and start fighting each other and competing?
Yeah. Listen to this, Jeff. Chad's saying that I'm not buying a bank coin without a huge return potential. Wait, but I thought XRP was a banker's coin.
But we're not talking about.
We're
not talking about
Jeff,
a bank coin. I'm just referring to him. We're not talking about it would be a stable coin. You're not getting return off. I know,
but the point, what he's saying though is the fact that you're going to buy a coin that's basically going to always be $1. So he's saying I wouldn't buy one if I don't have the right use case for it, because there's no return on investment, right? So it's not.
Here's the question.
You're not buying it for that reason,
right? Exactly. So here's the question: if you put your money in the bank right now, you have $1,000 in the bank. Is your $1,000 actually in the bank? Do you have direct access? Because now if it's 100,000, and let's say you wanted to take your 100,000 tomorrow,
you could
can you take your 100,000 tomorrow? Better question: you have 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, doesn't matter, sitting in the bank right now, 8:33 p.m. on a Sunday night. You want that money and you want to move it. Can you do it?
No.
Now, if it's in a stable coin in the bank, can you move it? The answer should be yes. You should be able to.
Should be. Right? Well, even if you dump it into like a money market account, you always have to give, some banks will allow you to make 24 hours notice if you want to remove it, right? Or if you have it in like an ETF or whatever, is what you have to provide notice to be able to pull it out. And if you're taking out $100,000, chances are it doesn't happen in 24 hours. It could in some banks. You have to give notice and they've got to arrange it, right? Because the money's not really there. The money is, it's just a number. Right. That's the whole reason why you don't really need a digital dollar. You've got a stable coin. You don't need a digital dollar. And the cool thing about stable coins, to your point, Jeff, is that you have way more options with them, right? So some of them have different use cases. And depending on the use case, it's not one size fits all. And just like some people would rather use like a tether versus like, let's say RUSD or LUSD versus a tether or something else, or it really sort of depends again on the use case. Ray Run is saying that what Monica's saying is they're not ready for new cross-border payments. No rails are built. They're entering beta trials first. Will take a long time for them to catch up to Ripple. Yeah, she could be saying something like that too. But most of the time, in most instances, that's the other use case, is being able to move it fast and very expensively. So, but again, the XRPL makes all that a little bit more She's saying that Swift doesn't have the Rails system ready, but they do. They're building something right now. But the whole thing with Swift is it's built by the banks, run by the banks. You know, where are you really going to get any sort of innovation there? Really, I mean, they do it for out of their own convenience so that they can manage it. But again, it's not going to be like a third party, like even like a Ripple or almost anybody in the game. They're not, you know, it's just always going to be old tech, right? It's just, I guess they're making some strides. It sounds like Swift's making some strides on an L1. You know, building their own blockchain. But again, you know, the banks are doing it. So is anybody that excited about it? I really don't care. I'd rather, I was saying this story to someone else, you know, about how banks are and complaining about banks. I'm like, this is another reason, even though I have said here that I think that mass adoption will happen because of banks. Right. But that's the whole idea is like, the fact is like, because I don't have to have an intermediary. I control exactly where my funds go, when they go, and I have full control. Where with the bank, you don't necessarily have that control, you know. And then moving, you know, my wife and I moving some accounts to a different bank. I'm not going to mention the bank, but the bank froze the account for a week, even though it doesn't take a week to move that money. Right. So now you can't use the existing funds because they froze it, but they've already taken it out of the account, but it's not going to hit the new bank account for a week. That's like, this is the kind of stuff that banks do, the kind of rap that they pull
while they're using your money.
While they're using your money. And this is happening in millions and millions of dollars every single day. And that's how they play it. You know, this whole thing of like, well, you put it on a Friday and it won't clear till Monday. That's 1970s. They're just using your money. That's how they try to get the there you go. Yeah, fractional reserve banking. Yep, that's what it comes down to. 100%. A lot of good banks need to offer yield and compete for my money. Yeah, well, good luck on that. 10% is only held. That's the fractional. Yep. Yeah. You got to go to banks that have that kind of money in hand. Well, that's where you know crypto is the
on advance.
Steve Willett says, "I love just how my bank asks me, how are you going to spend your money, and if we give it to you, and won't accept hookers and blows." The answer. Well. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you want to spend your money on. I mean, I'm not endorsing that, but it's like whatever you want to spend your damn money on, you spend it on your damn money. I saw a post today by let's see if I can pull it up, but it was saying that it's the founder of Proppy. She was saying that she was trying to open a bank. She was just saying about how the banks again were asking her about crypto purchases. None of your business. None of your business what I spend my money on. Exactly. And they're asking her about that. And I asked her to name I go, can you name the banks, please? I asked her, can you just name the banks so we know? What are we talking about here? So
take every last dollar and spend it on whatever you want to spend it on. It's none of their business.
No, exactly. Why do you need permission from somebody, you know, for money you're going to spend? Your money. You made it. You know, what the hell? Nobody has to tell you how to spend your money, but banks are just, they really do Ripple bank rumors. No, Ripple will be a bank, but for financial institutions. Right. It's not going to be open to consumers, so it doesn't matter. It's just going to be a banking license, but it's going to allow them to do some really amazing things, but not consumer. Not consumer at all. She goes on to say that trend number 2, the stablecoin payment network pop-ups. Some will be brand name partners. Don't be fooled. Keep your eye out. That's for sure. Before you sign on, ask how onboarding fees and reconciliation work. If the network provider is unlicensed, they've done daisy chain partners together. So you have the headaches of correspondent banking, but hey, it's on the blockchain. This is a very good point right here. And a lot of people will be fooled and they will go down this road and they'll say, oh, blockchain's BS. No, what you chose, the partner you've chosen is BS. That's what you will go the road. Trend 3, build your own blockchain. True, payments require certain features and functionality, but there are public L1s and L2 chains out there that serve payments well, like the XRPL. But for new chains to succeed, they require major capital investment and years of heavy lifting to achieve decentralization, build sufficient liquidity, and develop infrastructure to work for payments. And you know, it's funny because there you go. The only stablecoin needed on XRPL, RLUSD, 100%. But
that's also assuming they don't go to a Ripple and Ripple doesn't start white labeling product, and they very well could start white labeling.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if they would, and it's for institutional.
Yeah,
If they had a consumer-based
institutional
product,
side.
a white label would make more sense. I don't know if it makes as much
But if
sense.
they do it for like a massive institution, if a JP Morgan, or maybe, not saying they're doing this, but let's say Swift as an entity came to them, said, look, we can't have, the relationship. We got to have our own branding. We got to do things our way. We want to white label your product. Now it's going to 10,000 plus banks global. Might be a little bit of a different situation. Or if a government wanted to white label the product. Could be different scenarios.
There's always going to be some interesting new type of scenarios. Let me see it. Here it is, right here. I'm gonna actually go to her. We got to have her on the show one of these days too. I don't see.
Is that Monica Long?
Yeah, Karanyeva. She's the
be
one.
great if we can have Monica Long on.
Runs prop. All good luck with that, son. We can't even. David Schwartz is going to be hammered now to be on podcasts.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no. If he can,
it's going to be.
He has no one to blame to say he can't come on because of so and so.
He told me he couldn't be on. Remember, he told me he couldn't be on because Brad told him no, and he ran away. But I mean,
Brad said he can't be on our podcast.
He's goofing around, man. He's such a goof. He really is. Like Brad even gives a rat's behind. Like Brad he doesn't give two craps about that. That's the funny part of it. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure he didn't say that.
Right.
But
a quick 30-second break.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Badass Yetis Coffee. Is it any good? Nah, it's fucking great. Forged in the mountains, brewed for legends. Badass YetisCoffee.com.
There you have it. And there you have it. All right. That's all good stuff. That was a good one to dig into. I actually like that thread of conversation.
That was a nice thread. I liked it too. I thought, and what I like about it is I like how she put that into like really digestible language. She didn't make it all lawyer speak. Like you can read that and totally get the messaging, like the thought behind what she's calling out, and she did it in a very succinct way. So I thought it was a very powerful threat, and I like to see more of that from Monica. Sometimes she'll put stuff, the attorney's got to read it. And, the attorney said this, whatever. But I like more of this style. Brad always shoots from the hip too. It's better to it shows you're human, and the way you put it out, like how you're thinking about it, how you're approaching the issue, how you're looking at it. I like that approach a lot better. Look at this. This was something I saw. I was surprised to see this, but this is Garlinghouse right here.
Garlinghouse.
And I heard he did his own stunts, Jeff. Just saying.
Okay.
There it is.
All
Ready?
Let's see what this
Here
is.
we go.
Friends, the SEC took us to court to chill innovation, to cast a shadow over the XRP ledger and the community that powers it. We refused to fold. After years of noise, a federal court made clear, XRP in and of itself is not a security. Facts and law prevailed. While headlines screamed, we built. Ripple payments opened and scaled new corridors, moving value in seconds. And above all, the strength and power of the XRP community, that's the engine. You've earned this moment, and you deserve XRP's success. Our vision remains the Internet of Value, ISO 20022 ready rails, where businesses, developers, and institutions can move money like information.
You see that?
That was a video of getting into a car, wiping up.
Like he's thrown at the end. You see him get thrown at the end.
Correct.
Friends, the
Oh my God.
God, you have to love that. It's fantastic. And then this one, here's Phil Kwok from Easy A, but he was on a podcast, and man, he broke the podcast. It was like one of their most viewed segments. But he decided to talk about the XRPL, and I'm looking forward to meeting Phil at Swell next month and in New York City. So here we go.
There we go.
Let me follow up to that for a moment here. What are some of the key advantages of using stable coins over traditional fiat or other types of crypto?
That's a great question. Number one is this cheapness with which you can transfer. So for example, if you transfer a stable coin like ORLUSD, which is issued by Ripple, then on the XRP ledger, you can transfer that for literally fractions of a cent. Super fast and super cheap as well. When we look at the cost of a wire transfer, I'll give you an example. We recently ran a prize competition for our community, and some of the prizes were very, very small, just as guaranteed prizes. We sent $10 to one participant. It actually cost her $5 to receive it because that was the price. It was a $15 wire transfer. So she actually lost $5 because we sent her 10. So absolutely insane. That's just one example of how stablecoins are making it a lot faster and a lot cheaper to receive and send payments.
Brilliant.
That's
So this
really, really smart. And that happens with Ethereum too. It's not just general fiat.
Oh yeah, well, it's, we've run into that ourselves, Jeff. I've run into that where you don't have enough to, even if you have $60 worth of Ethereum, you're screwed. You got nothing really because you can't do anything with it.
No,
so
can't move it.
But in that point, myself. So it's everybody experiences some of that stuff at least some point.
Right.
What else? I think that's the end of our crypto segment.
Where's our segment on Brad? Where's our video with Brad Garlinghouse?
That was it right there.
The Eric Trump. No, the Eric Trump.
Oh, the Trump one. Yeah, let's play that one too.
Got to play that one.
Yeah, we got to play that. Let's see.
We didn't put that in the title or anything.
No, it was like, but this was on the Patrick Bet David, and but he drops Brad Garlinghouse's name, which is essentially
it was in the title.
Here it is. Yeah,
it was in the title.
How do you feel about Doge? How do you feel about XRP, Ripple? How do you feel about Ethereum? Where are you with the other three?
Know all of them extremely well. Know Brad very well at XRP, and he's done a great job. Know Ethereum very well. I'm one of the guys who was early on this year saying buy Ethereum as it's crashing, and Ethereum's come ripping back. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of Ethereum. Bitcoin is digital gold. Ethereum is definitely the oil by which all financial systems are going to run on, and they've done tremendously well. And I think honestly, cryptocurrency, all the altcoins, I think are going to do well as Bitcoin rips. Those are going to follow.
Yep, he's right about that.
He was pretty spot on, and it's funny. We decided to take that. It was a really good soundbite, and he's talking about knows Brad Garlinghouse really well. Little, mix up on XRP versus Ripple, but the point they were talking about from a digital asset. So he was kind of connecting an inference to the asset, but interesting because there's so much within the social media space where they'll grab something like that, or they'll grab, we talked about it yesterday, where, they indirectly make a statement that Swift is going to adopt the XRP or XRP is going to become the global reserve currency, or, or Eric Trump is going to, drop some big bombshell on Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple and XRP. It comes out in just like discourse, but yet there's so much FOMO within the social media space. We thought we had to kind of highlight that and kind of draw some attention to it, because that's what we do. It's a lot of fun to do that.
It's great fun to do that for sure.
Visual Vendetta. I'll use Tron before I pay for all these fees using ETH. There's so many fees, and it's still around where it's so difficult to use ETH. I mean, it's insane. Think about if we were giving away NFTs that were Ethereum based. What kind of cost would there be to move one of the NFTs? Would we be able to, just give NFTs, do drawings and do it, seamless and efficiently? No. Because we're talking about like 0.000012 of an XRP to complete a transaction versus
on OpenSea when you do ETH NFTs, the fees are ridiculous, man. Would we be giving away like what it would cost us? Yeah, that's a great point. It's like no, it's so nominal you don't even notice it really, quite honestly. But
well, look at that, we're at the bottom of the hour.
Just because he rounds his vowels doesn't mean he's smart. That British way of fooling you. I would agree with this sentiment right here. The Kwok brothers are phenomenal. Dude, if I sounded like that, everything I would say would sound way smarter. That's right. If I had that accent, like that, that accent, that deep voice, I'm gonna tell
we're
the
gonna work
Kwok
on that
brothers.
from
I
now
told
on.
them I'm gonna meet them. I'm gonna definitely see them, and I love what they're doing in the community. I agree with John Doe here. This is absolutely they are great ambassadors. This Easy E thing is phenomenal. I love what they're doing. He goes on a podcast. They're asking him about general stuff, and he chooses to go and talk about the XRPL. And in fact, that segment was by 10 times blew any segment that they did on that podcast away. It was one of the most viewed. So he's a great ambassador. So, but I get what you're saying, Steve. I understand what you're saying there. But yeah, you are the convict stock in Australia, the way I understand it. They took all the convicts, sent them to Australia, and look what happened. You guys had a whole different accent. It's sometimes I've almost gotten pretty good at accents, even in the UK, where I can tell if it's the northern, the mid. I can kind of tell a little bit of the region. I'm not great at it, like a native speaker, but Australia one trips me up sometimes, especially the heavy Aussies when they start talking. I'm like, what are you talking? What? Like when
They
I was
change
in
the words don't make
Yeah, well, they use a lot of the slang. I'm like, you lost me, dude. It's like Wazza was all talking slang. I'm like, bro, you gotta bottom line it for me, dude. I don't know what you're saying at this point.
Yeah, can you put that in English so we can?
Yeah, I'm
understand?
like, I don't know. You lost me. It's like you don't. At some point, when I was in Ireland too, I got this taxi driver, and I was like, yeah, He was like, I was like, yeah. I had no clue what he's saying. I haven't been to Scotland and been able to understand up there, but this dude like lost me in Ireland. I was like. I wasn't struggling to understand what the hell he's talking about.
Our next door neighbor is from Scotland, and when she gets kind of comfortable in conversation, like normally you can understand everything, but when she gets really comfortable in conversation, she'll say things and you'll stop understanding.
Arkansas with beaches. No, I wouldn't say that.
Australia's
brothers
not
are calling for 1,000 XRP by 2030. Yeah, it's fine. I'm down with that. Good.
Be awesome. I like it. Especially with the ETFs rolling around.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna fly, man. There's no doubt about it. It's gonna go somewhere. We'll see. No one thought I could hit $3 again, but here we are.
That's it, and here we are. Hey, we're at the bottom of the hour.
Play the video, man.
On the podcast. We are getting ready to give away, or we're gonna, we're doing the drawing again. We have this beautiful badass Yeti that we're gonna give away. He is of the Clan Titans from the Blue Tribe. This guy's name is. Well, you'll see on the video. But actually, if you're on the podcast, you won't see. So I'll let you know what it is afterwards.
Yes.
But you'll be able to listen to the music. I think this one is pretty solid.
Let's go.
Here we go.
All right, let's go.
When a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe, the Titans rise. Your key is a man wallet. Your fate on the chain. Idea. Solely unbroken. Fortune stone and flame. He stands alone, thunder in his veins. When the ground splits, he doesn't fall. He owns a quake. Years old. Raise your weapons, raise for the Titans call. Soul the mighty. For battle, made for legend. Claim yours, badass Yetis on the chain. Is on the chain.
On the chain. Well, the voice when he started the gurgling to the drums.
That is like
that was awesome, man. Awesome. I
want to get that Yeti in there. YET, like that one, YETI.
We got 6 in the drawing, guys. Type in Yeti. Let's go, people. Come on now. Let's go. I'm going to transition into some geopolitics. And let me get this one out of the way first.
Epic.
President Trump issued another warning Saturday telling Hamas it must move quickly to release the hostages or all bets are off as the Israeli bombardment on Gaza is scaled back.
That's it.
And then, of course, this guy named Martin, who the hell, Martin Chitty Bang Bang, the guy who's trying to get life back on track, who also writes it as published, which means nothing to me. But anyway, he says, I wonder why I'm the only one who thinks that the president of the U.S. has absolutely no power over other countries and their leaders. The replies here are just very cultist. This is their war. We have bigger problems with our own country to dictate to others. Jeff, you want to comment on that?
Does the U.S., he thinks that president of the U.S. has absolutely no power over other countries.
None.
I think the U.S. is a hegemonic power, has a lot of influence and power over other countries. You know, we're at the table. We're trying to help an ally kind of navigate a difficult situation. And here we go. You know, do we have big problems in our own country?
Yeah.
100%. Can we focus on the big problems? I think there's a confusion when we talk about MAGA, Make America Great Again. America first doesn't mean America only. There's a group of people out there that want to focus on America only. You cannot isolate yourself. You still have to play well with others, and you still have to be a player on the global stage, because if you isolate yourself, then you're no longer a hegemonic power, and you're basically putting walls up around your country, and you're done. And then that's the end of it. So it's not America only, it's America first, because we're here. Every other country should think about their country first. But in this situation, you know, President Trump is trying to help navigate a situation with an ally country, with Israel, to navigate a difficult situation with a region, a very small area that's controlled by a terrorist organization that has captured and still holds citizens from Israel hostage in underground bunkers and are starving them to death. And it's been a horrible, horrible situation. And these, you know, terrorists are hiding in tunnels while and putting their own people in harm's way on a regular basis in hopes that these people become martyrs, and they martyr themselves. I mean, it's a very bizarre, you know, kind of difficult situation to be in. And we're 2 years. October 7th marks the 2-year mark when this all happened. It seems like it all happened yesterday. So, you know, I think as we kind of look at it from this perspective, Trump is a global leader. You know, the United States has to, you know, be a beacon of truth and hope and enlightenment to the world, you know, but we have to fix our shit first, you know, but we can still help others while we go through the process. I think that's part of it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, this whole idea of cultist and this and that, and he's not wrong thinking we have to fix our own problems, but this is something that's going to affect everybody. And the point is the one person who drafted the peace agreement was President Trump, the one person that stood up and said, this is how it's going to go, and this is how you have to release the hostages. Otherwise, look, you either play to for peace, or you continue the inevitable, and that's what it comes down to. And if you don't have somebody saying, hey, this is how it goes, or else, that's it. I mean, this isn't like, well, okay, well, this is how the European countries handle it. Well, whenever you get around to it. And by France, by Canada, and by the UK recognizing Palestine was a massive error in judgment. You have hostages you have American hostages, Israeli hostages from other parts of the world that are still held almost 2 years later, and they're endorsing this country. You're out of your minds. Like, you don't mess around with terrorists. You don't negotiate unless you're going to try to end something peacefully. But you can't say to somebody, well, take your time. We understand. This is how Europe approaches it. That's why Europe is caving. Europe doesn't have any balls. It can't stand up for itself. And this is why it's going to cease to exist. It's going to be one giant country, and it's going to be run by Sharia law. That's it, because they allowed it, because they were worried about being called names or racist. And it's not racist to protect your language, culture, and borders. Okay, the same way I want to go to France because it's French. I want to eat croissants. I want to eat that. I want to have French wine. I want to have the French experience. I want to hear French being spoken. That's why I go there. If I want to hear something else, I'll go to another country if I want to experience a different sort of a culture. Same with the UK. And I feel like it's not even there's parts of London right now, the pubs are disappearing because Muslims don't drink. Well, so what? That's not your country. If you don't, why are you going into other countries with a wrecking ball, destroying them? Now, I'm not saying that's everybody, but but the other people who are complicit and not standing up and saying, "Hey, this is wrong." But I am seeing more of that on the internet. I'm seeing more of that on X, where people are standing up saying, "Hey, I'm Muslim. I don't agree with this. You assimilate. This is how it's supposed to go. And if you don't like this country you're in, or you don't appreciate it, don't go." And these are the Muslims we need to hear more from. These are the good Muslims that we need to listen to and hear. But they're afraid too, because I can't blame them. They'll get their heads chopped off. They're just volunteering to be punched in the face, which is never a good thing, Jeff.
Right. Well, especially if you look at like the Persian communities, the Iranians that are over here in this country for I would say the larger percentage. Anywhere you go, amazing people, super welcoming, love the party, and just in general, great group of people. They fled their country and came here on purpose. There's no way they want to bring all that shit here. They love being here in this country. And that's what we need to hear more of that. Same thing in England. We don't hear enough, from the community, the Muslim community over in Europe, to say, hey, we don't stand for this. You know why they don't come out? Because it's dangerous for them to do that. Plus,
of course it is.
That's their community. So if they speak out against their community, they get ostracized from their community instantly. You get ostracized from the community, it makes it even more complex for them. But it's very dangerous. I can remember, a friend of mine over here. So if you think about during the Gulf War, and actually the first Gulf War, so in the early 90s, his brother had served in the military in a very high division over in Iraq. They came over here shortly after, but during the Gulf War, he was terrified because he didn't want to say anything. They're Chaldean, they're from Iraq, they're Christian, but they still didn't want to speak out against Saddam and the regime with fear of retaliation. And he was convinced that his phone calls were being listened to, and observed. And so, he would, and then the second time around was the same thing. He got very, very concerned, about the fact that something could happen to the family. And they're in Michigan, and they've been in Michigan for many, many years. And so it's interesting how that can that follows you over, the fear about, exactly what's been happening and how it's happened.
I hear Steve Willis, the ID card, if used correctly, will solve immigration. You know what solves it? Deportation.
Right, that's right.
That's what solves it. Closing the border solves it. You don't need, when you're trying to sell somebody something because you're not, this is going to do it. We know who they are. You know exactly who they are. They're the ones you're giving these beautiful hotel rooms to. You're giving them cash cards. Don't tell me you don't know who they are. But under the guise of like, oh, well, this is how it is. Look at pubs in London are closing because upkeep is being so expensive. The profit's not good enough. Privately run pubs are alive thanks to benefit takers and retired people. Never get out of it. That's a good point. And it's like, but I see a lot of pubs closing too because they're not frequented, because they're in an area of London that, that people don't drink. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like the whole thing. But this two things I want to play from the UK. This one here, this kind of tells you the state of the UK today, kind of runs it down for you. And then I've got something to follow that up with. But let's listen in.
UK is now the second most depressing country to live in officially. Taxes are at a post-war record high, up to 45% income tax on what you earn, then 20% VAT tax on what you spend. If you're a business, you have VAT, then 25% corporation tax, then business rates, then 15% national insurance. Then you've got council tax, road tax, car tax, stamp duty tax. There are 39 different taxes that you pay. The town centres are in ruin, they're run down, there's empty high streets and increasing homelessness. You get stabbed for a watch in London, and petty crime is now legal in the UK. The cost of living is soaring, and inflation has wiped out 35% of your money in the last 5 years alone. You work 3 days out of 5 for the government, and you pay £4,000 a year in government debt interest. Then when you finally pay off your house and you retire, you're looking at 40% inheritance tax. And this is just the beginning. The UK want to tax you even more, and they want a digital ID, and they want more control. There will be no cash soon whatsoever. You'll get imprisoned for your social media posts. You own less and less and less. You give away more and more and more. And people wonder why everyone's either leaving the UK or taking the streets to protest.
There you go.
What are your thoughts?
It kind of spot on. You know, it kind of takes off what Osman was talking about. They're closing because upkeep's expensive. Well, upkeep's expensive, but they're also being taxed out of it. So your taxes are high. You're not earning enough. Upkeep's expensive. Cost of everything's going up. It wasn't an accident that the cost of goods were going to go up drastically. You know, I mean, it's all kind of part and parcel, but there's so many components to that on a global level, you know, and again, you know, it's helping to kind of bring the status down, but there's a massive kind of division right now in the wealth divide. You know, the wealthy are getting significantly more wealthy. The middle class is being, you know, impacted on a very, very large scale right now. And much of it has to do with taxation, which is why the state of Florida is considering, you know, getting rid of additional taxes, get rid of property tax. You know, I would like to see just across the board, let's get rid of all income tax. The state of Florida does not have income tax. We get rid of property tax. Property tax has gone up a lot too. You buy your house and you still have to pay property tax, you know, based on valuation of property. Our goods and services that the cities provide definitely do not match the increase in valuation. You know, just because my house went up, does that mean that your goods and services are now more expensive? You know, and not even goods, it's just services. You know, what goods are we getting? You know, so are they doing more than what they were doing before to rationalize an increase in cost? What you end up seeing is the hiring of more personnel. You also end up seeing them getting more pay raises, and then, you know, maybe they get paid too much in the administrative aspect of it. They don't pay police and fire necessarily, you know, based on, you know, the risk reward of life of their work, you know, and so there's so many different aspects to it.
100%.
That, yeah.
Good news. Crypto Prince arrived.
Crypto Prince is here.
We can start the
Crypto
show.
Prince is here.
Thank God. We'd appreciate Chris. Catherine's here as well. Catherine just jumped in. Says hi, Will. Good to everybody guys jump in. Yeah.
Euro rant. We're not done talking about Euro yet.
No, we're not done yet. We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Here's what I wonder. I mean, sure, Ben Habib to me, I think, has some of the best takes as far as, but I do see Nigel Farage coming around, and I do think that Nigel Farage, you hold an election, he gets voted in, he's going to run in the same thing that Trump is running into, which is the deep state, which is the bureaucracy, which is the MPs, which is the councils. It's so deep. It's such a tangled mess that you come in, you say, I'm going to do this. Now you're going to have the courts doing the same thing to Farage that's happening to Trump, is that they're going to start suing him. They're going to start taking him, you know, to court. They're going to start, you know, trying to, you know, oust him, whatever it's going to be, because it's so deep. And the people, just like any kind of a dictatorship and which is akin to a democracy, the people who are the top 2% will fight to stay the top 2%. And they're always looking over their shoulder. It's how socialism and communism works. It's how democracies work. You always end up with some sort of a benevolent dictator. Even if a guy like I don't feel like the only thing that's going to really save Great Britain, the UK as a whole, is revolution. Sitting around complaining about it, and the taxes are getting higher. They're going to do reduce the tax. Okay, you're not paying 45%. You're going to pay 40%. Oh, thank God, right? It's not going to do it. I remember when Reagan came in, you know, when Reagan came in, there's 45% taxes. He cut them down to like 28%. and they went even further. And Trump wants to bring that rate down to 15%. And what ends up happening, and this is what people, they don't want, the dirty secret they don't want you to know, is that more money comes into the treasury when you lower the taxes. People spend more, people do more, companies flourish. And this is what's happened during the Reagan administration, is that he came in, cut these taxes. Oh, we're not going to be able to survive Trump's tariffs. Oh, these tariffs aren't going to work. Even the CBA, the Congressional Business Office said, oh, they're going to, and now they kind of came around and said, I don't know, maybe these things could work. But the Congressional Business Office is always wrong, Jeff. They've been wrong on 99%. They're the ones that are supposed to score stuff to see how it works. They're the last people in the world you want to touch in any of this stuff. The Congressional, they're a bunch of partisan hacks, a bunch of losers. In Great Britain, I always say, like, this is great. I love Tommy Robinson. I love what he's doing. I love some of the voices that are coming out. Having a big rally one day, terrific. You just showed there are a lot of people that are pissed off that are united. What are you going to do about it at the end of the day? You're going to live with it from day to day. Nothing's changing, and it ain't changing anytime soon. And even if Nigel Farage gets in, you're still going to be hoes. It's time for revolution. It's time for a new form of government. It's time for decades, hundreds of years of centuries of tradition not working. At least, no, our system's not perfect, but at least, listen, no matter what, we've got the First and Second Amendment. We've got free speech. We have the right to bear arms. That's it. When you give up your guns, you're a host. There's a reason they don't want your guns. Not because they're afraid you're going to hurt. It's what most people don't realize. It's against tyranny. Protect against tyranny of the government. The government's good. If everybody in Great Britain is packing, they're not going to be so bold anymore, man. They're coming after you. Yeah, well, that's funny. I was going to go over there, and I was thinking, I might be. I was supposed to go to a buddy of mine's birthday over there, and I was like, geez, they might not even let me in the country.
Well, maybe you can still go to. Can you go to Wales?
I'll have to list well, he's in Great Britain, so I'll be like, they probably won't even let me in. They'll probably be like, oh, we need your socials, and they'll probably
border, right?
Dude, I almost got arrested last time I was there because I was filming some police messing with this dude, and he was and there was a fight and stuff, and I'm like, look, it's in the public. I can film anything I want. They're like, sir, we're gonna take your phone. We're gonna take your phone. I was like, what? I'm not taking my phone. I was like, all right. And I was like, okay, I'm deleting it. And then I walked away because I didn't want any trouble.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy. They don't want me. But Jeff, what would you say? What if like George Orwell like happened to just casually pop into 2025? It might go something like this.
Well, I wasn't far off, was I?
Afternoon, sir. Can I see your digital ID, please?
Oh, that's rich. I write the warning and you make it the rule.
I write the warning, you get a rule.
That's pretty good.
Oh man.
Thank God for AI. It's fantastic.
Well said. We have the right to do nothing. Don't matter who is in, we get crapped on. Yeah, you do nothing, then it just gets worse.
That's a solid point.
Got to delete all social media posts before going to a UK country. It's probably true. Well, they don't know how to use. They know how to use Facebook and TikTok. I don't know if they know how to use the other stuff.
I think they make you put your socials when you enter the country now.
That's right.
I don't think I'm
log in with all of them.
I got kicked out of Canada too. I don't think I'm allowed to Canada anymore either. So that's not going to go very well. Hey man, I'm doing it because I want the best for the countries. I want the best for the countries. I want them to thrive, man. It's not like I'm not. It's not against the company. So So here's a girl talking about the Free Palestine. Totally takes it apart in like less than 2 minutes. Here we go.
Palestine. We did. Israel completely pulled out of the Gaza Strip in 2005 and forcibly expelled all the Israelis living there, leaving behind beautiful land, greenhouse gases, and a thriving environment. And what did the Palestinian people do? Burn down all of the greenhouses that Israel left behind and elect Hamas, the terrorist group, as their leaders in 2007. And since then, every single resource that has been brought into Gaza from Israel has been used to create rockets by Hamas to attack the Jewish people. None of that water, none of that funding going to educate or enriching the lives of the people living in Gaza. And who's deciding that? The terrorists they elected, Hamas. So if you really want to free Palestine or free the Palestinians, then support Israel in eradicating Hamas from the face of this earth, because the day that Hamas disappears will be a better day for the history of the people living in Gaza and the people living in Israel. The only way to free Palestine is to eradicate Hamas forever.
Yeah.
Oh, but don't talk about history. Oh, no.
No,
You remember when they did that? They burned everything. Jeff, they went mental. Like, why would you burn the greenhouse? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, that was done for your benefit. I don't understand.
And if you remember 2005, Israel had to forcefully remove people that had been living there for forever. Right? They didn't just move there. They weren't settlers. They'd been living there forever. They're like, you know what? We had an agreement. You can stay. You won't live long if you stay. So how crazy is that? That you're supposed to have peaceful coexistence with a neighbor, and yet, you know, you have to eradicate all the Jews from a region because they won't be accepted or they'll be killed. So think about that for a second. You know, right? There's little freedom. If you go back into the 80s, there was freedom of movement in the area. It was, you know, there was a major turn of events, and it was right around the time that Clinton, Rabin, and Arafat kind of sat down in 2000, and it was probably in the 90s where things started getting. There was an Intifada uprising, and things got less safe. But after that 2000 mark, things progressively got less safe in areas that were predominantly Christian. Like if you want to go into Bethlehem, or you want to go into Jericho, or, you know, you want to go around to some of the holy sites that happen to be in these Palestinian controlled areas, you know, because they said, here you go. You know, there was an agreement on the table, but what happens is that it's no longer safe to go there. And it just amazes me that, you know, people just have no concept. The other part is that Gaza is this little strip that, you know, that if you predate, you know, there was, you know, a time that Egypt occupied that area, you know, and then you have and then you still have the quote unquote West Bank, which kind of aligns along kind of the eastern side of Israel. There's an area cut out where the Palestinian Authority is in charge. So you have the Palestinian Authority in one area, and then you had Gaza in the other, and there was going to be some sort of a semblance of this quote unquote Palestinian country. 2005, they pull out. They pull all the Jews out of the region. Hamas, like she had mentioned, takes over, destroys everything, and there you go. You know, and so now, you know, fast forward 20 years, and you know, what do we have? We have a terrorist entity that's in control of a region. Egypt doesn't want them. You know, Egypt put a massive border wall up along that area and won't let them in or out. Yeah, I mean, so
that's awesome.
You know, a lot of things to really, you know, take into consideration along those lines.
Yeah, I love this right here. Let's see. I'm a fan also, Chip. You're not wrong. You may have your faults, but being wrong is one of them. Well, don't worry, I'm wrong too. Though
occasionally
have to. Oh, look at this! I knew it, Smithson.
87-3.
I told you, man.
Sucks for the Bills.
That's what I said. No score updates for Bills game, please.
87-3.
Well, at least they're on the board, man. At least they got threes. That's good. So I was like, look at Trump. Look at Trump golfing again, and look who gets the sombrero. So for the podcast, Trump hits the sombrero. It goes flying through the air. It hits Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, in the head, and she falls back into a bunch of chairs. It was like perfect meme. Yeah, I love that. Dilly Meme King. These guys are good, man. They're good.
So funny.
And then, how about this one? Yeah, you might recognize the movie this one's from, but here's another great lighthearted moment. Trump, dude, the whole idea of Jeffries and Schumer, dude, they'll never live this down. There's so many memes going around that it's just the most brilliant thing ever. Look, here's a great one. Look at this. Here's Trump trolling Jeffries again.
Show us.
Oh my God, what?
That doesn't really work, does it? Have you tried? Oh, that's good. Oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic.
Look at Jeffrey's face.
Better. So much better. What a fantastic, fantastic tune. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground. I've been Donald Trump. Thank you and good night.
All right. Oh my God, that's
these
so
memes.
great. I don't know where people come
Here's
up with
another one. Speaking about memes.
It's Dollar Store Obama. It's Dollar Store Obama. Hockey mask, no socito. Loves tacos, burritos. Closing the government down. Constant whining pendejo. Hates Americans, loves illegals. Hates Americans, loves illegals. Democrat way, Democrat way. We always pay. Government's closed, no dinero. Democrats need illegals to get their way. Americans no longer will pay. He's a dollar store Obama. He's a dollar store Obama. Dollar store Obama. Dollar store Obama.
No bueno. Billy meme team is the best, man.
Oh my God, they're funny.
That's
They
the
are
best.
good.
That is the best nickname ever. Dollar Store Obama. That's the greatest nickname ever.
Oh, that
it
was one
really
of the
is.
greatest
Greetings
to
from the
come up with.
Slovakia. All right, welcome to the show. Appreciate it. Those are the best. Oh, don't worry, we're missing. I go through so many of these to try to pull the best ones or ones I think you guys will resonate the best. But this is funny, Jeff. You know, I don't know if you saw this, and again, this could be master trolling, but the point that it's out there makes me laugh so much. Look at this. So you have Trump, the Treasury Department considers minting a $1 Trump coin. The draft design of the coin, which is overseen by the Office of the U.S. Treasurer, Brandon Beach, features Trump's profile on one side of the coin. So on one side of the coin, you've got a typical, side profile of Trump's head. It says Liberty across the top, and it says "In God We Trust." And on the bottom, it says 1776 to 2026. 250-year anniversary. On the other side, it's got Trump with the fist up. Right after he got shot with the flag in the background, it says "Fight, fight, fight, United States of America, e pluribus human, $1." So I don't know if this is real, if there is any truth to it, but this is pretty funny. Look at this. Here's Dan Scavino posted this.
That'd be so great.
You've got the lady that was yelling no. The first Trump, she's wearing the roadside vest. She was wearing the yellow and vest, and she was like no. So they put her as a barista at Starbucks as someone's going to pay for it with the Trump coin. She's like no. She's like no.
That is.
Oh my God. Temu Obama is pretty good too, but not a lot of people know who Temu is though. They don't necessarily know Temu. I think Temu Obama, but that's why Dollar Store Obama is. But everybody knows Dollar Store, right? But Temu Obama is a good one as well.
Well, at least over here we do. I don't know if they know it in other countries.
Yeah, I don't know if they know in other countries.
They might not have
Temu
Store.
probably would play better in other countries since they're more into the plugged into the Chinese cheapo products. I don't know if that's necessarily the thing or not, but it could be. Who
And
really
that Timo
knows?
pops up everywhere.
Yeah.
There was this a guy retrofitted his garage, took $2,000, bought everything on Temu, and so the first thing he did was redo his flooring, and he was going to put an epoxy down with some sparkle. So he used whatever he got from Temu, totally screwed up his floor. So he had to go to Home Depot, grind it all down, and start over again. But from there, it went well. I don't know how many thousands he said his cap was 2,000. So he got all the goods. He spent thousands more fixing his garage floor, whatever he had to do.
Trying to save a few pennies, right?
Trying to save, right?
But it was pound foolish.
Was a whole thing for YouTube, but he ended up fixing up. Who knows how? Is that
Right, I understand,
what's
Joe.
going to last?
Understand.
What's not going to? But it was hilarious. It was very funny.
Yeah, AliExpress, same stuff. But here's Adam Schiff trying to be serious. Dude, every interview the Democrats do from here on out should look like this. Every single one without fail.
And they need this sombrero.
Just had the sombrero.
In day 3 of the government shutdown, and how is the president using his time to try to bring an end to this pain he's inflicting on the American people?
You can't even take them serious.
I can't play that because,
we can't play.
Yeah, I can't play that because we got booted off this thing.
God.
But
how great is that though? You put the hat and the mustache.
Every single one. I think I have one with Warren here, don't I? So what, do I have a Liz Warren one? Let's see. Where is she? I know I have one here somewhere. Oh, here she is. This is great. This is how every one of them should be. They should be wearing the sombrero with the mustache.
What is going to be the level of reimbursement? And the Republicans said it's going to be a low level. The Democrats said we just want to go back to the level it was before because you're going to bankrupt hospitals. You're going to put rural hospitals out of business. The Republicans and the Democrats plan nothing changes the number of undocumented immigrants
Makes it more palatable
who still get care if they show up bleeding and unconscious at an emergency room.
This is nonsense what she's talking about. They took it out of the Big Beautiful Bill because it was garbage in there. So now they wanted to pump it with all this garbage. And I just don't understand. Like we've seen a number of these videos of when they're talking about like what's really in this video. This woman breaks it down pretty well. This is all the garbage that's in this stupid bill that they want to, because they got mad that it got taken out of the Big Beautiful Bill. They want to just restore it because people are dying. No.
I read the continuing resolution proposal that the Democrats sent out so that you didn't have to, and I'm going to tell you what's inside of it. This is a continuing resolution bill. This is to keep the government open for another 6 more weeks. First, nearly $500 million, like $490 million, goes straight to PBS. How is that prioritizing the American people?
It's not.
Secondly, they want $157 million set aside for Congress itself. They want additional security for members of Congress, residential security systems, and $10 million for upgrades in security to the state office. I'm sorry, but average Americans are living in cities that are ridden with crime. Oh, but that's not even the best part. They are asking for $174,000 each in death gratuities to 3 dead members of Congress. It's tragic, and I'm sorry for the loss of those members of Congress. But ordinary Americans don't get 6-figure payouts from Congress when one of our family members dies. So why are we paying for them? And then finally, one of the biggest things on this bill, y'all aren't even gonna believe this. $437 million for the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development. Yeah, that's American taxpayer money being sent to boost Europe's economy. Not to fix our border, not to lower inflation, but actually to spend more of our money to buy 40,000 shares in a country we don't live. Make sure that you share this so that people understand what we're really fighting.
Right. It was insane, Jeff. What the hell? The European, like that's the last thing we need to be spending money on. If you think about it, like the last thing in the world is that you're paying for the European sort of bank. This is I like this too. You know, they announced Bad Bunny is going to be the halftime performer. He doesn't even sing. He sings in Spanish and he dresses up like like a woman. He's a nut job. But anyway, but here is look, they did Hakeem Jeffries in a bunny suit and it says I'm a bad bunny. So you gotta love that. And then this one here he is with a sombrero on, with his mustache, a High Plains grifter. So these just keep coming. They're just absolutely fantastic. But it's time to run we're gonna have to go with it, guys. We only have 9 in here.
Oh man. All right.
I was right. XRP reposted the stream. Beautiful. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
You were
Much
right.
love.
You were right. He was gonna do it. And he
Dime
did it.
Store Easter Bunny. Store Easter Bunny. Temu Easter Bunny. There you go.
Temu. All right, here we go. We're gonna get ready. How many? There's 9. There's only 9.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too funny.
9. All right. So by the time we finish playing this video, we're gonna throw this in here.
Guys, type in Yeti. There's 10 now. Type in Yeti, guys.
Y-E-T-I. Y-E-T-I.
Win. A badass Yeti. From the blue tribe, the Titans rise. Your key is a man wallet. Your fate on the chain. Haiti, Haiti, Haiti. Zoldy and broken, fortunes don't inflame. He stands alone, thunder in his veins. When the ground splits, he doesn't fall. He owns a quake. For battle, made for legend. Claim yours. Badass Yetis on the chain. Is on the chain.
A badass Yeti. Yo, the soundtrack sounds so professional. Something I would hear on radio. Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah,
all the shit we do is like first class, baby.
First class.
Not messing around. It's the best shit. It's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you appreciate that. Where the trans Yetis at? They ain't here, dude. There are no trans Yetis. That's so funny. There are no trans Yetis in the animal kingdom and the Yeti kingdom either. So there you have it. All right, guys, we're gonna put this up. Put the soundtrack on, Jeff, in the background. Badass Yetis.
Zola's son, Zola's his brother. Means ice. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. Iceman coming.
Iceman coming home. Let's go. Okay.
And, oh wait.
Appreciate that, Jeff. Yeah, here we go, guys. You got, if you typed in Badass Yeti, you have a 1 in 13 chance of winning. A 1 in 14 chance. Thank you, Daniel jumps in. Daniel jumps in on it. Daniel from Unchained. Nice one.
Wait.
Gotta start over again.
There we go.
Hell yeah, we got 1 in 14 chance. Ready? Let's go. Boom. On the chain. Yeah. Chad, winner, big winner, chicken dinner. Chad from Celebration, Florida. Daniel's going to win. It would be funny if he popped it at the last minute and won. That would be great.
That would have been great. That would be great.
Fantastic. But Chad is the winner.
Chad says rigged.
It is rigged. You won.
Rigged it in favor of Chad.
Nailed it. Let's do it. All right.
What we need.
Yeah. Badass Yetis. Thank you. That was driving me crazy after a while. It's like, look at Chad's all on it, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
Chad's all over it, man. He ain't playing.
And by the way, Chad, look at this bad boy right here. This is Zol. Look how cool. Look how kick-ass that guy is. Look at that detail. That
Badass Yetis. Love it.
Of the clan. That is Zol of the clan Titan.
Gotta love that.
There he is right there. Zol. That guy's kick ass. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give that bad boy over to you here in one moment. Un momento. Right. I gotta watch this the ad.
Send it over. While you're sending that, we have to watch this another time because this is the only way you can watch Democrats anymore with the sombrero. Because this makes it somewhat entertaining.
Saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and bring the receipts next time and tell us where that's in the continuing resolution. Continuing resolution is supposed to be clean. It just grants enough money to keep the government open for 6 months. It's all BS. They're such bad liars. Kids are dying. Which kids? Explain to me which kids are dying. Which kids specifically are dying? And tell me where in the continuing resolution where it even cites any of that. They're so full of crap,
And
Jeff.
that's it. Chad, you own this bad boy. You own Badass
Chad,
Yeti
nice
number 34. Badass Yeti number 34 is
Well
now
done, Chad. You got a
owned
good one.
by Chad. You got a good one. Number 34 is a good one too. 34. 34 is a good number.
The winningest man in Yeti history says it's rigged. The man who just won said it's rigged. It must. Oh no, it's now. It's 112 to 87. Beautiful. What a comeback! Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Some call it a comeback.
Americans, no one turned away from an ER. Right, exactly. That's why your healthcare is so expensive because
which is true.
The oath of Socrates, you have to treat everybody, whether they have insurance or not. Right. Except if you're American, you don't have insurance, then you get kicked to the curb. That's sorry, sucker. But that's all we got, guys. All we have tonight. We will see you guys on Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Badass Yeti.
Badass Yeti.
I like that. Badass. Let's play the beginning of that again. It's the beginning's fit. Badass Yeti.
The beginning is pretty kick-ass. Here we go.
A badass Yeti.
I think I'm going to clip that sound. Oh, you're muted. Muted.
Clip that. We can remove the music and just play Win a Badass Yeti. All right, guys. That's all we have time for. We will see you guys on the next one. We're going to watch the Bills game. See you guys on Wednesday evening. Chip and Jeff. Have a great week. See you. Bye.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.